Hi, I'm Shaleen. I'm your host for this podcast series, and thank you for watching this particular episode. Today's guest is a very dear friend and my yoga teacher, Anirudh Gupta. Sir, welcome to the show, and I would just request him to give an introduction of himself.
Hi Shaleen, I am Anirudh Gupta, basically normal guy from Mumbai, and I delved into the life of yoga, and I prefer to call myself a yoga student because there's a lot of learning to be experienced along the way, a lot of fun along the way, and I just love this yoga life.
So there's one aspect that you told me about, sir, that you've not always been a yoga teacher. There was a past life before being a yoga teacher. Can you talk a little bit about what that past life was?
Yeah. So basically, we all have a prarabdha or a purushartha. Prarabdha is basically what your inherent baggage is, and purushartha is what you make of. So I'm quite old, as you see, and in my 50s, and up to the age of 40, 45s, I used to be in the financial world doing a lot of finance stuff. And slowly something clicked in my heart. There was something amiss in the heart, that there is more to life than this world. And even prior to my delving into the life of yoga, I was studying scriptures like Vedanta and Bhagavad for 5 years. And probably that was a moving point in my life when I discovered a yoga class.
So you were 45.
I was 40.
That's about my age right now.
Yes. So.
And you were in the world of finance.
Yes, I still am in a little bit of a sense speaking, because you need to earn your livelihood. But by and large, I have moved out of that world to come into this new realm of yoga life.
And that's one huge step to take. You actually took a big part of what you identified with, what your income stream was, and you took a big risk in terms of moving out of that and what in some words you were describing as your prarabdha, or how did you say, what word did you use?
Yeah, so prarabdha and purushartha. Prarabdha is what we are born with, your like basic baggage or basic seeds, and purushartha is like when you allow them to germinate, or you move from a certain sphere to a new sphere, your self-effort, self-conditioning and things like that.
So in any case, there was this huge calling that you felt towards yoga, because you're here right now sitting more as a yoga teacher. You're known now more as a yoga teacher than a practitioner in the financial world. And what was it that made you cut that out in your life and choose yoga instead?
So basically, we all have points in our life at some point of the other. Like somebody, you can go on the positive side of life, you can move on to the negative side of life. For example, somebody may start to use their inherent capacities for gambling. You can go to casinos. A lot of people I know like make a life in blackjacks. People can start gambling, and you can use your wealth and fortune in one way of meeting life. Or you can use your mental capacities, you can use your resilience to move to a lesser paying field, but a more self-reliant, more happier life, something like yoga. So we all have the choices, and of course the easy choice is to go with the flow, to be more of, indulgent in the world, or you can be more in the world but be less indulgent and follow your dreams.
So you
because this is the only life you have.
So you decided that you would rather go with something that was giving you a little more happiness, that's something that you were feeling a little bit more fulfilled with.
It would allow me, yoga allows me to live my life completely. So I don't have to, take shortcuts. I don't have to look at ailments. I don't have to look at age-related conditions, because every sphere of life brings a certain set of conditions. Like when we are young, when we are in our teenage life, those set of conditions govern how we move. When we are in our middle-aged life, or when we start to get older, the conditions, they plow you down, or they bow you down. So I didn't want to be bowed down or plowed down. I wanted to kind of...
So we've all heard about some of the crazy aspects of life when you're living in the financial world. There are long hours, there's a lot of stress, you're dealing with a lot of money. The income is good, you do get a reward, but it does come at a particular cost. And tell me about that. How removing some of that and bringing yoga into your life, what were the changes that you saw?
So of course, the financial world is a very nice world, and it gives a lot of good opportunities to people to make correct investments. And I think we should all use our intelligence and our judgment to make good investment calls and to remain invested. Having said that, the financial world can also be very stressful because you have to meet targets, you have to meet unrealistic targets, you have to meet goals, and you are always working with expectations of others to fill your pockets. So it's very tough in a financial world, to do justice to your client and at the same time to do justice to your pocket, because most of the corporate world is all related to your concept of cost to the company or how many times are you worth to the company. So you have to bring in a certain revenue pool on the desk. And by doing all this, you may actually shortchange a client or a couple of clients to meet the company's goals or to meet your own goals. So to that aspect, it can be a little stressful.
And do you think walking out of this, some of these, let's say, darker sides of the finance world, did it simplify your life? Did it enrich your life to, in another way, follow your passion, follow the area in your life that was giving you joy?
So yeah, when you're trying to move life 360 degrees, so yoga is not like a part-time pastime where you're contributing 1 hour a day or 1 hour a fortnight or a week. Nothing's going to change in the life. Even for somebody who wants to have yoga as a part of their life or lifestyle, 1 hour in 2-3 days is not going to really move anybody into another position. It's just going to be like in the medical world, we have drugs. So some drugs are called, a maintenance dose. You're just taking a medicine to be maintained. And then some medications, you have to take heavy medications to get rid of a disease or to move on to a new path away from that medical issue. So we don't want to be in a maintenance dose. We want to really see that we are putting in a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of action. So that involved, at least for me, to move away from the world of finance into the world of yoga.
So you wanted to jump into it wholeheartedly. You wanted it more to be than just the hour in the week, but so you wanted to get the full benefit.
Correct. It also depends upon the individual judgment or the individual, what you weigh more important in your life. So I don't have to speak this, like how many houses are enough for you, how many cars are enough for you, how much food on the table is enough for you. So you have to come at a reality, at some point in life, what is more fulfilling for you. It may not be too many things, but just a handful of things, very minimal things may be very fulfilling for you. So it is each individual's personal preference, and we are not judging anyone by where they stand or what their preference is in life. Like in my case, my preferences woke up pretty late. Somebody's preferences may wake up still at 55, 65. Somebody's preferences may wake up at 25, 18. So it all depends upon the play and push of the prarabdha and purushartha to begin with.
That's such a beautifully well put thing that you said, sir, that it's just really about the things that are important to you and making space for them in your life. And obviously you wanted to have a different set of things in your life other than what was being allowed to be kept in your life in the world of finance. And tell me, sir, from being a practitioner, how did you transition into being a teacher? And what was the journey from being practitioner to teacher?
So I don't consider myself a teacher even today. I don't consider myself to be a teacher even tomorrow. And hence I don't have any professional certifications. I chose a path of yoga, started giving me intense happiness within. And a lot of my friends and my family and my colleagues saw a kind of a transformation. And one of my teachers, he always gives me this sentence: don't be lonely, don't feel lonely, but you can be alone. So that always struck to me. And on this path of yoga, there are many times one will be alone with himself, but it should not be confused as being lonely. You could be in the city of Paris, you could be in the city of Mumbai, you could be in a local train of Mumbai filled with people but still be lonely. But that's not the point. The point is being capable of being alone with yourself, being happy with yourself, not needing too many outside equipments to be a contributor to your own happiness. So yoga started giving me a pathway of being more complete to myself, and thereby when you're more complete with yourself, the necessity to have more and more drops. So you could have a few things and be happy, or you could continue to pursue your mindset of acquiring more and more and more and more. But then how much can you acquire, how much can you keep, especially when we have small houses in Mumbai?
That's so beautifully said, sir, that you said once you felt the happiness inside, you felt less and less of a need to have the outside sort of infinite things that are now available to us on a daily basis. And like you said, in Bombay, we do have small spaces that we live in, and the more we're going to be happy within, that's the secret to the happiness. Rather than kind of just allowing ourselves to be sucked in by the consumerist way of life.
True.
But sir, you were really a shining example of that. And not only did you take that up in the form of the practice of yoga, you gave up something what people dream about having all their lives as a very successful career in finance. So could you give us maybe a few simple things that we could take into our lives, about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 simple things that we can practice about yogic life, about living a simpler life, about living a more happy life, some of those tips that we can take from yoga?
So first of all, the yoga mat and the yoga class is like a transformative practice. Like without putting in some hours on the mat, without actually being on the mat, things are not going to change. And having said that, I think in yoga there are around 84,000 asanas or 84 lakh asanas. Now,
that doesn't sound very minimalistic.
Yeah, but what is minimalistic in this is like when you go to a pharmacy, there could be n number of drugs, but you will only you go with a prescription and you'll take 3-4 drugs that work for you. So same way, why we have so many gods, why we have so many yoga postures? You take what is best suited for your present body condition, mind condition, age condition. So at the age of 18, 19, your yoga practice would be different. At the age of 30, 40, your yoga practice would be different. At the age of 50, 70, your yoga practice would be different.
It sounds a bit like life, sir.
Exactly. Life, or like pharmaceutical drugs. Like you go to a chemist, but you never desire that you take the whole shop. So
you take what you adds most value to your being, and you adapt that to yourself, and that will give you the most benefit.
Exactly. But today is the day of Instagram. You want to, or the day is social media. Social media comes from the word show. So you're not being minimalistic. You want to show the world, you want to show the yoga poses, you want to show your capability, and you want some acknowledgements from someone. So you start doing yoga postures that are alien to your body. They are alien to your being.
Like the headstand, for example.
Exactly. So you could learn a headstand which could be important for you. Or there are so many ways.
If you have a cervical issue, it may not be so good
for you.
So you
can, through the Iyengar way, you can do a headstand with ropes. You can overcome the limitations. So it is your own inherent desire. If the desire is there, there are a lot of props available for you to overcome a condition and to meet your goals.
Thank you so much, sir. Just to come back a little bit to 5 simple things we can do just in our daily lives. You were talking about a yoga mat and a class, number 1.
So I would say the yoga mat is your teacher. The moment you open your yoga mat, go with a blank mind, and every day would be like a different day. For example, we all want to have different breakfast, or a different kind of a meal. We want to change our meal every now and then. We don't want to stick with the same meal every day. Hence, you come with the yoga mat. The yoga mat will tell you how your body condition is today, what poses feel good for you today, what poses you would want to avoid today. So in yoga, what is more relevant is not what you do, what you want to avoid. And if you see the Ashtanga yoga sequencing, first he talks about yama, what not to do. So you come to the yoga mat, see your body condition, see what you ought not to do today. Then comes what yama, niyama, what you ought to do. So once that you come on your yoga mat will start to give you ideas, start to give you a foundation where you want to go, what you want to practice.
Lovely. That sounds, in a nutshell, pretty much the philosophy of minimalism, because there's an infinity of things and choices that we can have in our lives, but we have to choose the things that matter most to ourselves and what add value to ourselves and what can enrich our lives in the best way possible to match our purpose.
Absolutely.
And
so if we are enriching our life, I'm enriching my life, thereby I am more conducive, more available to my family. I am more conducive, more available to my country. I am more conducive, more available to the world. Thereby, you can remove a lot of conflicts from within you. Once your internal conflicts are removed, what is left is only embracing. Anybody comes, you just want to embrace them. If there is no conflict within you, there is no conflict outside of you.
On that beautiful note, like Anirudh sir said, let's choose what not to do, and that way embrace the world that comes most naturally to us, spread love, and be a better person for everyone around us.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it the best, Shaleen.
Sir, thank you so much for being with us.